sit back and decide what you want to achieve this week. And I'm looking at Jackson right now, and I'm saying, um, Jackson looks like the team lead for the Nigerian. So,
Yeah, I'm a patriotic Nigerian. I represent Nigeria every day.
yeah, patriotic Nigeria.
Of
Been
course,
cold. You
we
catch
should-
this morning. But you look good. You look good in this face.
Always, yeah.
I was expecting to see that smile on your face. Well, Abuja Jackson, that's to just let you know that Tessa Jackson is still in the studio. And the King's Heartbeat Olori, I am here. We're going into our first conversation this Monday morning. We told you before we went on that break that our first conversation would be on security, halting the spread of terrorism and terrorists across Nigeria. With us in the studio this morning is a security expert. He's also a development expert, talking about Dr. Dominic Gatong. He'll be taking us through this conversation this morning. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning.
Good to have you join us again.
A disclaimer: I'm not yet a doctor.
Okay.
Okay, so let me quickly ask this question. Why is it that there are, as I would say, dress the way you would want to be addressed? And so this morning you're looking like a doctor.
Okay.
I was waiting to get that disclaimer.
So it's an award from you, and I take it.
Thank you so much for joining us this Monday morning. Okay, so first let's start with feeling your pulse. In recent times, Nigerians have been, I wouldn't want to use the word overwhelmed, but if I would use that word, by reports, not necessarily, the events themselves, because some of these events, some of the reports you read, turn out to be false. And so Nigerians have been, sort of overwhelmed with stories and reports of security challenges here and there. And of course, with the challenges themselves on ground, it has come in as a great burden on Nigerians. We cannot deny the fact that a lot of Nigerians currently, live in fear. But what would be your pulse as a security expert? It's possible that the pulse citizens are feeling. As an expert, your feelings might just be different. So let's hear you talk to us about your pulse.
Well, so I am also a human being, a Nigerian. I live also within the Nigerian territory. I travel up and down from one place to the other. So stories about what happened along the roads, in houses, and so on, are things that I have to also be worried about, because they are real challenges. They're not perceived. I know how many times I've gone to the village to sleep there. I go, but I don't sleep there. I have to go somewhere else to sleep. And I know there are lots of people also that also have that kind of situation, because you sleep there, a brother of yours will connive with somebody that will, they come pick you up in the night. So it's really pathetic. So there are issues of terrorism, there is issue of crime, there is issue of so many things, insurgency and all those things. So it's really a dire situation that we found ourselves in.
But do you think it's as bad as Nigerians feel it, or talk about it?
Yes, it is. For you to have an attack at Kuje prison, which is about 41 kilometers from the president's best bedroom, then it's a serious issue. It's no longer a joking matter. And you've had, within a span of a month, attack on the presidential guard. You have threats of attack on the law school and the Veritas University and some other targets. So it's not just a perception, it's real. And the earlier we take it as a real thing, the better for us.
Okay, now it has been sounded in some opinions that there is a lot of politics going around, that is fueling this insecurity, that it's not real. It's orchestrated because of we hear more of the insurgents activities and less, even when some are arrested, it's still they still they repent, and they are even integrated into the society. How sure and true are we that we are really trying to nip this in the bud?
Okay, so there are different types of the insecurity that we have. You know, if you don't treat that type of insecurity the way it's supposed to be treated, classify and treat. If you don't classify and treat, you will not solve the issue. You have ordinary crime, right? Like somebody walks into your house, kidnaps you, you know, demands for ransom. That's just a crime. It might not be organized, an organized crime like that. You also have insurgency. Insurgency, groups of people that want to secede from a country. And then you have terrorism. Terrorism is more of a group of people that want to instill fear in every citizen living around that area in order to send a message to government. If you are not able to classify these things, you may be taking the solutions for crime and treating insurgency with it, or you'll be taking the solutions for insurgency and treating terrorism with it. So we need to really classify those things. So talking about whether it is political or whatever, I mean, so in the political side is that, one, they don't deploy experts to really see how they can deal with the situation, classify and deal. They think everything is a military solution. Even the people around think it's a military solution. So there is a sorry, there is this issue of banditry, in quotes, or whatever it is that we call them. People call them different ways based on their classification. There's banditry in the Northwest. What people think, and even generally what government thinks, is that we send in soldiers there, they kill everybody that is there, and then the world is now Uhuru. But it's generally not correct. You need to treat it from the perspective that what is it that actually caused this issue? What is the root cause of this issue? Yeah. So you because it has already escalated to a level that is already a crisis. People are annoyed. People have extended beyond tolerable levels. So you will need to, talk. You need to still take the military there, at least to force the peace. Once you force the peace, the technical term they say is for peace enforcement. You force the peace by really coming there with force, and then once you have that peace, then you start treating those items that brought you. Is it the jobs? Is it the economy? Is there any issue between communities? But the Nigerian issue, the political direction of solving it is, let's just take soldiers there. Once you go kill 1, 2, 3 people, you leave them to their fate. The same thing will still come back again. You can imagine. I give you example of the the northeast, where you have Boko Haram. Thousands of Boko Haram people have been killed. But you ask yourself, we still have them today.
Where are they coming from?
Yeah, where are they coming from? That means the conditions that made them, or makes people to, join Boko Haram are still available. So we will keep having them.
So, looking at the trajectory of this insurgency, say, from President Goodluck Jonathan's time till date, how would you assess the level of progress we've done so far? Is it escalating? Because some people will tell you no, because we do not like so person, that is why we are talking about insurgency, that it has been there. But over the years, what has been it?
So if you try to solve the security issue based on regime, then you are missing it, because you're still talking about the same Nigeria. It's the same Nigeria, whether it's Goodluck that is there or Buhari that is there. It's the same Nigeria. So you will find out that, sorry, so you'll find out that the major idea about it is how to solve the Nigerian security problem. It's not as if immediately Goodluck leaves, the security people, the people that are causing the insecurity will stop and wait, say, okay, your own era has passed, let's now re-strategize for this. No. So it's better for us to look at it as a Nigerian problem and then pass it from one one government to the other. It should be a continuity, not for somebody to say during my time we were this, because the same insecurity issues that were there during Goodluck Jonathan were the ones that were still passed on to this regime. So it's not, I'm not holding brief for this what they call this administration. I'm not holding brief for them. They've really done very badly in terms of security, and primarily is because, as I said, they don't involve the experts that are required. So it's not always a military solution at all. In fact, it's only 20% a military solution.
Okay, so now when you talked about issues, security issues on ground that allow insecurity fester even after one administration has handed over to another administration. So before we begin to look at how this how this spreads across and how we can halt that spread, what are some of the issues on ground that, as an expert, you have noticed and has allowed insecurity to fester and spread across Nigeria?
So the basic, one of the basic things now, our youths are jobless. The unemployment rate is about 40%, as reported by the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics. 40% is a large number, and that does not also include underemployment, because they are really two different things. There are also people that are underemployed. Underemployment means people that work less than 8 hours. It's not as if maybe you are a graduate, you are cleaning. No, people that work less than 8 hours in a day. That means they have a lot of hours of the day of idleness, and they say that an idle mind is the devil's workshop, and it's quite true. Our healthcare, how good is it? If I sit as a young person and I have malaria, can I walk into a clinic and get treated without an issue? Or do I need to find a way of keeping money in my pocket? As a young man, my parents that are old and maybe having diabetes, heart issues, Am I able to treat them? From what income am I going to do that? Is the government able to take care of people like that, or those issues like that? So these kind of issues actually turn out to be people now having conflict with society, and you want to vent your anger on anybody that you see, that you perceive is the one that is responsible for your issue. Normally, if there is a riot or so in villages or areas, you find out that everybody gathers to burn houses, that the best houses in the villages. Why? They feel, why is he rich and we are poor? They're venting their anger, and he might actually not be
their problem.
I mean, he's not. He didn't steal your money. So, anybody that is rich, just, why are they rich? Why are they rich? They're rich. Everybody is poor. But it still boils down to how, government manages, the economy. How does money flow from one hand to the other? And that is when you have jobs. Of course, there are indices that are used to measure that. It's called the Gini coefficient. I can't really remember exactly that of Nigeria, but without being told, the difference between the rich and the poor in Nigeria is really, really wide. So these are issues that we need to wake up to and see. That should be on the dashboard of the president. How much have we been able to reduce unemployment? How much have we been able to provide for women who are who give birth? Healthcare for women. Some 3-4 weeks ago, a lady died in Abuja during childbirth. My friend's daughter also died some time ago in this Abuja during childbirth. It should not be heard of. Abuja is the capital city of the country. It's not even allowed to be heard of in the villages, because if you have good health care, you will not have such issues. There are countries like the United States, maternal mortality is 0. So these are issues that are living with us in our communities, our society, that we struggle to see that we resolve. And then it makes us annoyed. We're living in anger because lots of things that you want to do, at least to live in this world, you're not able to do that. So we must double our efforts in trying to resolve all those insecurity causing situations. That's there.
All right, Abuja, it's the Good Morning Abuja show, a Monday edition. We have with us in the studio this morning a conflict, security and development expert, Dominic, that's all.
Well, that's a good one. we hope that
you've awarded me.
And we're talking security across Nigeria, halting the spread of terrorism and terrorists across Nigeria. So now let's delve into that part of the conversation. What happened? How come? Because at a point, when we talk terrorism, escalating security situations, at a particular time it was just the northeast, but right now you have pockets of it in every region of the country. How did this spread across Nigeria?
Basic issues that I talked about. Very basic issues. Young men are jobless everywhere. Conditions that will make even older people to take up those activities, they're still everywhere. So they will spread. And the bad news is they will continue to spread. That's the bad news. They will continue to spread until we do the right thing.
So what's the good news?
Well, the good news is that I'm talking about it today. That's the good news, that I'm talking about it today, that government should look for people that understand what the root causes of insecurity are, that will classify them, understand what they are, the causative situations, and then treat them based on what they are. So you cannot take the solution for insurgency and place on terrorism. Two different things. Or crime and put on insurgency. They're two different things, and we must treat them as they are. Study them in relation to our own, because the template, of course, is generic, but in relation to our own situation, what could have brought us into this, or to this level of insecurity? Food security is another security issue. Job security is another security issue. So all those things, on a normal day, we don't talk about them, but they are the deep-rooted things that cause the killing, and because all this killing, they are the surface of it. It has become crisis. That's why you're seeing people killing here, kidnapping here, and so on. So it will continue. I'm sorry to say, it will continue until we sit up to it and block those issues that are causing them. It's not about blocking Fulani from moving from here to the east or to the west. It's not about that. How are you going? Fulani, for example, when we were growing up, any funny issue, they will tell you, it's Fulani. One Fulani man did this, and we laugh because we ignored their education. And we were laughing at them. Today, they are able to have access to the war technology, which is the AK-47. And unfortunately, you don't have to read a 10-page book to know how to shoot an AK.
Okay, now this situation is very it's scary. Talking about it, I know our listener will be very scared about what is going on. Now, when this all started, it was like, a whisper. It was secrecy. No one could mention names or categorically make some statement because of fear of unknown. And that fear, the citizens grew in that fear. And on the part of the government, there was no proactive measure immediately. You talked about classifying and dealing with situations. Would you say the government over time has not been able to do this? Of course, we know of intel that has reached the government, even all over the places. Yet nothing is done until it happens. Is it about government will?
So I lived in Maiduguri for a while. When the Boko Haram war started, where Mohammed Yusuf was killed, I was there. And what we know is that people that went to report issues to police were later killed by or attacked by Boko Haram. Immediately after the war, actually people were very forthcoming, taking information to police and so on. Now, police themselves, when they report someone, there were so many extrajudicial killings.
Yeah.
which is of course what also killed Mohammed Yusuf. So many of them, and then for some, they will release them. At the end of the day, they would even go to the extent of telling who said what to who, and then before you know it, so that those were the allegations. So I don't have any proof to say that is it, but the point is the activities show that someone somehow has revealed information that a certain informant gave to the authorities. So over time, people became afraid. Your neighbor is a kidnapper, armed robber, but because you don't have any protection, there's nothing you can do. Whereas with the current level of technology, we're supposed to provide for anonymity in reporting of issues. We must get that information that is prevalent around the society with ordinary people. They know some of these things, but they cannot just walk into a police station and report. They have to, because they are afraid. Nobody will protect me if I do this. It's only when, like in a village, if there's an armed robber, it's only that day when they kill him or they arrest him that you start hearing people say, yes, that time that this happened, he was the one. That one that happened, this he was the one. So you information is trapped at a level that is not useful. So we must find a way to get information filtered from the public, who are even the real police. They're supposed to be the real police. How it will be filtered from them to the authorities, and then the authorities can now use those information and build intelligence, because lots of trash will come from the public, but there are also lots of good information. Now for the because the authorities are a sink where every information comes, that means they'll have information from different quarters and then relate them and then build intelligence. If this happened here, this person called, another person called, 3 people called, then this information must be true. In the era of artificial intelligence, you're able to relate things that are not related completely. Somebody buys a mobile phone somewhere. At the end of the day, that mobile phone that he bought in a certain shop is the one that will expose him, because he was in a certain shop at a certain time and the crime happened, and he has the tendency to do that. He will be picked up and you can be surprised he will be the one. So we need to see how we can imbibe some of the current, especially technology, current researches about the insecurity and so on, in order to solve our problem. But one major thing here is the anonymity that we need to create for people giving information to the authorities.
Okay, it's a big worry. It's a big worry here. Talking about halting this spread of terrorism in Nigeria, and one major thing I want to believe is in intel, which we know that these army, they're not everywhere, just like the police. So communities, people have a lot of intel, and we've also seen where some people that were even kidnapped, that got freed at some point, came out to even tell the media, the world, the government, look, these people are planning this. Look, these people are saying this. We even have people who have intermediaries. These people are also giving ransom money. These People are in Nigeria, within our communities, living, and this is going on unabated. The government, you hear some governors came out recently to say, please, everyone should protect yourself, because the federal government at that level cannot do anything substantive. So which way do we go towards helping to halt this spread?
For me, generally, I think the federal government is too far from the people. There's only so much that they can do. If we can systematically move towards community policing, I think it's going to, by and large, help us. However, a basic thing that we need to also do before we even worry about community policing is the healing process of our togetherness in Nigeria, because crisis prone areas, you're likely going to have the community police profile people based on probably their religion or their ethnicity. Or we don't have color here. Of course, we have examples of in places like America where people are profiled and even killed just because they're colored. So we must, for our own here, is an issue of religion or ethnicity. So that healing process needs to come up, or else you have community police profile somebody based on some of those things, and then they will, harm the person or treat him unfairly, and it can happen anywhere. There are Hausa people living in the west, there are Yoruba people living in the north, there are Igbos living in the middle belt or northeast, and there is this tension between these various regions which needs to be healed. We need to heal that wound that we have and really look at ourselves as Nigerians, and look at the issue of security or insecurity as our own collective duty. Not that I'm putting up my community police because I'm targeting Fulani, or I'm putting up my security architecture, community policing architecture because I'm worried about the Igbos, who sell beer in my locality, So all this healing process needs to come up. Let's look at ourselves as a bunch of people that are looking for survival together. When you fall sick, sickness doesn't know whether you're a Christian or a Muslim or Hausa or Igbo or whatever. It comes, and if you don't have a place where you will treat yourself, you die. I'm from the village. I know when you go to a pharmacy, you hear someone say, give me malaria medicine for 100 naira. so yeah. It's not the treatment that really matters. What matters, what limits you, is the amount. And of course, the person will carry the 100 naira tablets, count and give the person. So how can we treat ourselves as people, as human beings, not as Christians or Muslims. How can we do that? That healing process, when is it going to start? That is where the role of government comes in. That we need to have people that will understand that and implement it in this country so that we can have a good life.
You're mentioning this healing process that we need to undergo. It's just like surgery. But much of the grievances, the pain, the anguish lies with the people. Because most times, Nigerians in our communities, we parley together, we stay together, we do things together. But the moment some leaders, especially politicians, come up with certain ideologies to now begin to sectionalize the society, making it look as if, this person is this or that, less of you, this, that. And of course, the issue of favoritism has also come up, and it has fueled so much anger in other parts of the country. Now you're mentioning healing. Is this possible, and how long would this take us?
Healing is very possible if we change our attitude to governance, if we change our thinking of favoring groups, tribes, religions, or even in some instances we want to be fair, we want to balance this. And then when you say, if you say you want to balance positions, balance this, at the end of the day you find out that you miss out on the expertise, and what you have is a balance of ethnic and religious people around, and at the end of the day it's not useful to community. So if you have somebody that, okay, I give you an example, Innocent Motors in the East produces cars for this country. I want a leader of this country that would look at Innocent and say, Innocent has the potential of producing cars for West Africa or Africa. And when you do that, you will have engineers employed from Kano, from Port Harcourt, from Plateau, from Lagos, going there to work. But if you look at Innocent Motors as an Eastern Igbo business, then you cannot even satisfy the needs of the cars in Nigeria, not to talk of taking it outside the shores. But if you take out that regional thinking, that tribal thinking, then federal government can say, okay, what do we do for this? It has the potential of employing 10,000 people. Why don't we put money into this? And whatever it is that it's even better for you to say, okay, let's put up the business and then get states to bring the workers. And of course, if you as an Igbo man lives in say Kano, your perception about the Kano people will, or the Hausa people in general, will change. So that blending, which I think the NYSC wanted to do, we need to start doing it in other areas.
When you said the NYC wanted to do, sounds like the NYC is not doing it.
The NYC is actually expired. It's not living up to the expectations. It's expired. The thinking of the NYC maybe that
That will be a
that would
conversation for another
for
day.
another day.
All right, it's the Good Morning Abuja show on BFM 106.3. Still with us in the studio is Dominic Gatong, conflict, security, and development expert, and we're looking at halting the spread of terrorism across Nigeria. The phone lines are now open. If you have an opinion, you can call in and share with us. You have just 60 seconds. 0817 687 2132. 0817 687 2134. You can send a message on WhatsApp on 0905 353 5305, on facebook.com/WeFMNG, on Twitter at WeFMNG, and on Instagram, WeFM1063. Now, when we have conversations like this, we cannot completely talk about the spread of terrorism without raising an issue that has been on the burner for a while, and that is the clamor by some Nigerians for state policing. Do you see this as a possible solution?
Yeah, so state policing, as I earlier said, um, is very good, and I would advocate that. But there are other things that need to be done. Of course, the healing process that I talked about, so that people, the state police or community police, whatever you call it, will not profile people based on their tribal inclinations, religious inclinations, because that tension is actually living between religions, between tribes, and so on. So if a minority group in Enugu, for example, may be profiled, especially if their number is small and one or two people out of them have done one or two things that may be wrong. They will assume that it's these people, they will. So it's not just about starting a state police or community police. There are measures that need to also be done, and are we ready to say, okay, this guy has done some things that are extrajudicial, and even though he is my person, I'm ready to deal with him. I know some of the issues in the Northwest are related to the Yambanga. What they call them? The police that is community. These people that guard places in the night.
Vigilante.
Vigilante. Is related to vigilante.
What
Doing
did you call it
some
earlier?
Yambanga.
Mbanga.
That's in Hausa. That's Hausa. They actually do things that are extrajudicial. So they take decision by themselves. They interpret by themselves and deal with people, kill them, and so on. So all these things actually make things to escalate. So we must treat all those ones first, in order to give a good ground for the community police. It's not just to wake up one day and say, let me do this. You're doing it in anger, and it will likely not produce the desired effects of
Okay,
it.
so now we have experts like you, who seem to have solutions and recommendations for governments. At what table can government and experts, security experts, meet, and what should that conversation sound like?
There are lots of people. In fact, if they go to the universities, they will get lots of people that have done a lot of researches about this insurgency, crime, terrorism, that they could just pick from a book and apply. But unfortunately, we are not a research-oriented people that will actually run to see when something happens. We sit and look at what is it. We just haphazardly treat it and think it's gone, and then we stop there. So one central point where they can actually get experts is to go to the universities, and they'll be able to get people that can x-ray what insecurities are, that have numbers to really show that if we change this parameter, this one will go down. If we change this one will go up. But if you don't know those parameters and how they affect other parameters, then it's going to be a bit difficult for you to deal with it. It's like it's a system. It's like a car. If one part of the car is not working well, the whole car will not work. So you need to look at the country as a connected system, and look at the major areas, the throttle, the brakes, and so on, so that we can treat it based on the issues.
Okay, just hold your thought. Let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello,
good morning.
Good morning.
Okay.
Osman, let's hear you. Osman, we can barely hear you.
We can barely hear you. Speak out, please.
Okay, listen. I say, first of all, let me appreciate the guest speaker. At least taking on so many issues that even our security agency needs to at least understand, because even let me say violence can never stop this problem. So sometimes we have to become violent because this issue of insurgency or banditry or what have you, we know that there are remote and immediate.
Osman, please, you would need
Please
to
call
call
us back. Your line is
Your
muffled.
line is muffled. We can barely hear you.
Yeah.
At this time, I'm not even
But
sure
you
we'll be able
got
to
some-
take a call.
yeah.
A call.
Yeah.
But before we allow you leave the studio this morning, let's quickly raise this. Right now, we're in a situation where insecurity is spread across the country. For citizens, what advice would you give to Nigerians now? We're not talking about the military guys or those who have a means, who are trained in self-defense. What advice would you give to Nigerians at a time like this? That's breath.
So the advice normally is try not to be in places where are prone to insecurity. Don't stay out late. Mind your business and so on. But it's also unfortunate that those advice, if everyone abides by it, they even show high levels of insecurity. Abuja is supposed to have a nightlife. So 10 years ago, if you go to a garden, you see people there till 12. Today, when you go there by 8, some people will not even stay there till 8. They will leave. So what does it tell you? Maybe if you you were in Abuja, you went somewhere, come back. The thing that will come to your head is, this insecurity has already taken over Abuja. What happened in Buari the other day led to the closure of Veritas University. So it's generally a good thing to close a university to make the children safe, but it also sends a signal that we are not secured. I'm not sure whether the law school was closed. I'm not sure of that. But it would be a good thing not to close it. Because if they close it, it will give an idea that, first of all, people will not be, will not be confident in the security architecture. And then the bandits, insurgents, or terrorists will also be emboldened, to do more of it. So I'm giving the advice with some, level of
mixed feelings.
Yeah, mixed feelings.
Thank you so much for coming into the studio this morning. It's a great way to start the week, knowing that there are steps that can be taken to curb the surge of insecurity across Nigeria. It's not something that is not doable. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
we
much.
have been talking with a conflict, security and development expert, Dominic.